Hey everybody, welcome to Life with Annie, and I'm making supper tonight, so I thought I would just kind of share with y'all what we're having tonight. So I've got some pork chops here. These are just boneless pork chops. These are cut rather thick, and I prefer mine a little bit thinner because I like to get more of the, the kind of crustiness around the edges. I'm just going to pan saute these, so I'm going to cut these in half. That'll give us 4 little small pork chops. And then I'm going to make some Italian rice. It's one of what my grandmother used to make. Now I'm doing something a little bit different this time. So I'm going to do the Italian rice 2 ways. I'm going to try an experiment so Matt can have it because he really loves this. So I'm going to put some butter in the dishes here. So this is going to be the larger one. This is going to be the smaller one for Matt. Okay, and then for me, it's really 1 stick of butter to 1 cup of rice, but I'm cutting back on the butter a little bit tonight. I'm going to go ahead and put, this is a 1/2 cup, so I'm going to put, maybe not quite all of it since I'm kind of making 2 little recipes here. And then for Matt's, I'm just going to, use some cauliflower rice. Now his won't cook nearly as long because the cauliflower rice is, and his has a little bit of some vegetables in it. So we're experimenting. I called him and I said, do you want me to try this? Because you love that rice, but you don't really want to eat all the starch and carbs and all that stuff. So we're going to try it and see if he likes it. So this is what we've got right now in his. This is just the cauliflower rice, and then we've got the regular rice. And so I'm going to grab my consomme soup and I'll be right back. Okay, so it takes, for my recipe, it usually takes 1 can of the beef consomme soup. You find this in your soup aisle. And then about a 1/2 can of water. That's the ratio I usually use. And that is it. So I'm going to do the same thing for Matt. I may not add the whole, well, let me see. I'm not going to add quite the whole can on his, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water in his. And then I'm just going to kind of stir his around just a little bit since he has other things in here. All right, so I'm going to put these in the oven at 350. It is 4:01 now, and they'll need to cook for about it's going to absorb all of that liquid. You can do this in the microwave, but I'm going to do it in the oven. So just kind of watch it and see when all that consomme soup is absorbed. Okay. So Matt's going to be brave tonight, but I know he loves that rice. He just doesn't want to eat that rice. So we're going to try and see if we can get it for him, make it for him in a different version. All right, so I'm going to pause here, get my other stuff together, and see what vegetable we're going to have. Okay, y'all, so I'm back. I'm just going to, I'll show you how thick these pork chops were. And some people might like theirs that thick, but I prefer a little more surface, 4 sides to get the all those kind of crunchies on the pork chop. So I used to always bread the pork chops and in flour and then season them, but we quit. I just kind of pan saute them now, and I like them almost as good. I prefer the breading on there, but these are pretty darn good also. Okay, so we've got that taken care of. All right, so I'm just gonna get my vegetable ready here. I'm not ready to put these in the pan yet because Matt is not here. I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter in my pan. And the way I usually season mine is with Lowry seasoned salt. That's what I like on pork chops. Matt likes it too. So we'll be back in just a little bit and see what we're gonna do with that vegetable. Okay, so I decided what we're having for our vegetable tonight. We're just gonna have, I've got some frozen Brussels sprouts here. And I tried something a couple of weeks ago with the Brussels sprouts and Matt liked it and I thought it was pretty good too. So I thought I would try it again. So I picked up some diced pancetta at the store and I'm just gonna kind of saute up these Brussels sprouts with some of this pancetta for flavoring. And yeah, that's how we're gonna do our veggie tonight. Something a little different. And Matt will eat Brussels sprouts, but he really liked them when I added this little pancetta to it. So I think I'm getting him to like them a little bit better. So I'll come back in a little bit when we get all of that going. I'm back, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this pancetta in here. Get it going before I add in the Brussels sprouts. So and let's see. So this is pork. So if anybody's asking, it's just little bits of pork. That much in there. We'll see. We can add more if we need to, but I don't have a ton of Brussels sprouts here. And I'm just going to kind of soften this up a little bit. Smells good. All right, when this kind of cooks a little bit, I'll add in the Brussels sprouts. They're still a little frozen, so I'm going to put them, put this on a lower setting. So we'll check back soon. Okay, so we have our pancetta sizzling away here. I'm just going to go ahead and pour these in. Around a little bit, and I'm going to turn them down. And I may even cover them. So let's get these going, and I'm not going to start the pork chops until a little bit closer. So Matt will be leaving work in just a few minutes, so we'll start those pretty soon. So we'll be back. Okay, y'all, it's time to put the pork chops on. So I'm just gonna drop them down in here. This in the sink. And then I'm just going to season them up with some Lowry's seasoned salt or whatever seasonings you like. We'll cook these a little bit and we'll come right back. Okay, y'all, I cannot eat my supper tonight without this delicious crackling cornbread that I made. Was it yesterday? I'm not sure. So it was so good. When I took it out of the oven, I went ahead and ate a slice because it was so good. And then I had another slice with my meal. I just love it. So I'm going to put a couple of slices and we'll just reheat this in the microwave. Let's do 3 slices. Matt really likes it too. I don't know if he'll have a slice tonight or not. I'll ask him. And if he doesn't, I'll take one off because I won't eat all 3. But it's so good. Okay, let's take a look at our little pork cutlets, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and give them a flip. See how nice they're getting on the other side? And I just have some butter in here. That's it. And then I am going to season the other side. And let me take a look at these. And so Matt's is not absorbing the liquid, the consomme soup, like the rice absorbs the liquid. So we're going to see how it goes. And then we've got our Brussels sprouts here with our pancetta. I did go in and drizzle just a little bit of avocado oil on the sprouts, but I haven't put any salt or anything like that in here, so kind of dresses them up a little bit, makes them a little different. Okay, we'll check back. Okay, y'all, so I took the 2 rice dishes, or the 1 rice dish. So this is the original consomme. Well, my grandmother called it Italian rice. She has it in a written little tablet, and I don't know where the Italian part comes from. I think most people refer to it as stick of butter rice. I didn't put quite a stick of butter in this one. And then Matt's, as you can see, it didn't absorb, the cauliflower doesn't absorb that liquid, but I'm going to let him taste it because he can just kind of, you know, drain some of that liquid off. And you might like it like that. So we'll see. But let me check on our little pork chops here. See how they're doing. A little bit more. I turned the temp down a little bit once they kind of crust up a little bit, because if you cook your meat on too high of a heat and too fast, it toughens it. And I didn't learn that till 5 years ago. I mean, I guess I was always in a rush. When you work, you come home, you throw it in a hot pan, you cook it hard and you cook it fast and at a high heat, and then your meat's tough. So I'm kind of learning to kind of slow down a little bit. I'm just going to microwave our crackling cornbread. I'm just going to do 30-second increments. So Matt's going to be here any minute. So we've got our rices, our chops. We've got our Brussels sprouts with the pancetta here. Y'all can see that. Doesn't that look good? If you like Brussels sprouts. I do. And you could probably put this in the oven too. And do it in the oven instead of on the stove top. Alright, so there's the first 30-second go round. Alright, I'm going to pull everything together here. Matt will be here shortly, and I'll plate this up. Okay, everybody, I am going to go ahead and plate up my plate. So I'm just going to grab one of these little chops here. I tasted Matt's cauliflower rice. It was pretty tasty. I thought it was quite good. And I'm going to put some of this Italian rice on my plate. And some of the Brussels sprouts. With the pancetta. And last but not least, let me get me a big old piece of this. Ooh, that's a little warm. Cornbread. I guess I'll take my other half of my little chop. Let's see, I want a small one. Let's do it like that. I probably won't eat both pieces, but okay. So this is our meal for the night. Boneless sauteed pork chops, Italian rice, Brussels sprouts with pancetta, and yummy crackling cornbread. All right, everybody. Matt's here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to eat our supper. Thank y'all so much for stopping by, and have a great rest of your day.